NFC North.
NFC
Excuse
North,
me.
Yep. Packers. A lot of late Vikings movement, by the way, in this division, which I found very interesting.
Yes.
I found very, very interesting.
I was a fan of the Jalen Reagor pickup. However, he needs to pick up.
I haven't seen anything from Jalen Reagor that I like.
I think just change the scenery. Just really help things.
You would hope so. You would definitely hope so.
I don't think he's bad by any means. I just think that also playing in Philly, hard.
So that's funny. So you feel about that way about Jalen Reagor? I have a worse one. I kind of feel that way about N'Keal Harry going to Chicago from New England. I never disliked that guy, really. I know that he had a lot of issues in New England, like a lot.
Yeah.
But I really liked him at Arizona State, like a lot. Like I liked him a lot there. So it's more of a bias pick just because I liked him a lot so much coming out of college that I'm still kind of like, holding on to hope that he can kind of turn out to be something. But yeah, I mean, if you're gonna say that you're high on Jalen Reagor, then I'm gonna say it.
I'm not saying that I'm
not high. If you're still holding out a little bit of hopes, right?
I think it adds depth at the position because I love KJ Osborne. I think he's a really valid third option. Miami bias, obviously, but I think he's shown flashes. I think he was great for what's his face? Oh my god, for Cousins, and I think that team can have an over 500 record.
Yeah,
I really do. Not a big Kirk guy. I think
the Vikings. Oh yeah, they'll be over 500. I think
they were under 500 last year.
I think they will be. I think they'll be over.
I had them as a sleeper wildcard position.
Yeah,
or a team, excuse me, in a wildcard position as far as standings go. Just based off the fact that the NFC is just not deep at all.
I'd go a step further. I don't know if I wouldn't call them a sleeper. I think they're firmly in the conversation for a wild card spot. Firmly in the conversation.
I need to look at their schedule again.
I think the Packers are an Aaron Rodgers injury away from Minnesota winning that division too, which I know you could probably say about most teams' quarterbacks, but I think highly of the Vikings roster. That's kind of my overall point.
I don't
Especially
see
offensively, man.
I don't know.
Kirk still got Dalvin. He still got Adam. He still got Justin Jefferson.
My thing
he's still got
Dalvin's still going to run 1,000 yards.
Yeah,
like that's just like almost guaranteed at this point.
It's still a very solid defense. So and didn't they get Everson Griffin back too as well? The line, the defensive line.
Unless I missed that, I'm not sure.
I might have missed. I don't know.
But the fact that you have Justin Jefferson, Adam Thielen, you just have options for Cousins and Cook in the backfield. Obviously, it really comes down to what kind of season that Kirk has. They gave him $35 million next year.
They did
an extension, which I thought was crazy. But then, I mean, obviously, you look at the contracts that are going out. No, I don't think he's bad. I think he just has bad moments.
I think you know what's funny about Kirk is I feel like he's more talented than the Eli Flacco kind of realm. I just think that he does a worse job of putting his team into positions to lose than those guys.
Yeah,
I think those guys are just better at not like fucking up consistently. I think Kirk is a more talented player. I just think that he fucks up a lot more.
I can agree with that.
You know what I mean?
That was kind of going back to my saying of bad moments, just picking the worst
Especially
moments.
Especially in primetime. His primetime record is atrocious. Man. It's so bad. It's so bad. Like you can't consistently come up short in those moments. You know what I mean? So there still are some aspects to this team, and obviously specifically with a quarterback that do scare me. But I think that roster is clearly the second best in the division. I don't think it's particularly close either.
Oh no, yeah, you're 100% right.
Yeah,
I have them second in the division. All right, let's go. Do you want to cover the Packers last then? Because I feel like we have a lot more to talk about.
I don't have much to say about the Packers, actually. You do?
I do.
Yeah, go for it. Honestly, you can hit that.
Unfortunately, we lost Devontae Adams. Yep. I think that's going to hurt. I think Rodgers is going to have to.
Wearing Packer green.
Mm-hmm. But I'm a Rodgers fan. I'm not afraid to say it.
You're a Packer fan.
No, I'm not really a Packers fan. I just like Rodgers. I constantly grew up having arguments talking about him being the best quarterback in football.
Yep.
And I think I've settled on him being the most talented of all time. Unfortunately, he can't win shit in playoffs. Otherwise, and there's arguments to be made
as far as until the conference game.
But I've always been huge on Rodgers, so maybe they'll do this shit. I don't fucking know. But the thing for me is that their defense remained the same. I think they became smarter after last year. What a weird San Francisco game. I thought that was
very
just
strange.
Really
it
weird.
It was a very strange game
where you kind of saw a Packer team that should have really dominated that game. And like it was almost like Rodgers went frozen for a little bit, and I was just weird way to end the game, or a year. Excuse me. That being said, I don't think anything changes as far as that goes. I think Rodgers can have. This is a question I want to ask you, but you think he can repeat?
No, I don't think they'll give it to him.
Now let me tell you what's been happening. Now he's been getting interviewed on the Pat McAfee show for 2 years straight, and he's won MVP twice, and he's doing it again this week. And he comes on every week.
Yep.
That's the
His
ongoing
40-minute segment.
That's what they were joking about last
Pat
week.
McAfee is the reason he's winning MVP awards.
Hey man, I'm not saying I'm superstitious. I'm just saying that's the stat.
I would bet big money that he doesn't win the MVP this year, just because I find
the odds for him not winning is a lot easier than him winning.
I just don't envision them giving him 3 in a row.
I think they go through growing pains with
I think
these young receivers.
Outside of him having like statistically hands down the best season out of any player in the league, outside of like something like remarkable like that, like 6,000 yards, like 50 touchdowns, like outside of something like that, like I don't see it. So
my thing is that I'm a big Matt LaFleur guy. I love the way that offense is ran, and I think Rodgers is one of the smartest quarterbacks in the league. Now, obviously, he's 38 now.
I think in some aspects, obviously losing Devontae Adams is going to hurt. I think in other aspects, it's going to help too.
It's going to be fine. Yeah.
And in other aspects, just building more trust with other guys. I think you saw that a lot last year, especially in the playoff game. It really tended to mostly be thrown towards Devontae
as well.
They have two really good backs too, both with AJ Dillon and with Aaron Jones. So
they're going to be fine in terms of that. They're getting David. How do you say his last name?
Bakhtiari back. Yeah. Bakhtiari, left tackle. Yeah, really good.
Getting him back.
Yep.
Missed the whole last season. So that's going to be huge.
Yep.
Right? I don't think they regress whatsoever. I think they'll be fine.
I think they'll roughly be around the same.
13-4 last year. Probably the same next year.
Around 11 to 13 wins, yeah.
Don't see them being the 14-win team.
No.
I think
11 to 13 is kind of the perfect. 12. I think 12 is a good.
I think there'll be one team that wins. I think the Ravens could probably win 14 games. But my issue is that I can't get over that hump with you just have shit receivers.
But that's just, I think that's things that's going to become more prominent come playoff time. Versus, I think once you get off this pod, do me a favor, take a look at the Ravens schedule. Just do that. Do that when we wrap up here. Then you might change your mind. Just that when I'm telling you that's 95% of the reason why I'm predicting them to be the top team. That is 95%.
So I know I have like two arguments here where I'm like, oh, the Packers aren't going to change anything, but I'm scared of the Ravens growing pains.
Yeah.
The difference is that Rodgers is going to be fine.
Yeah.
I think that you're going to see moments where he's like yelling at his receivers, like, the fuck, you were supposed to cut that way. Like, I think we're going to have that on like NBC primetime, like Sunday night game. I just think that he is just way more advanced football wise than Lamar. Yeah. And that's not taking anything from Lamar. Like, that's not saying that he's not.
Aaron Rodgers has put in like almost 20 years in this league.
It's just different. We're talking about arguably a top 5 quarterback of all time.
Yeah.
That being said, I won't spend too much time talking about them. Their defense kind of stayed the same. And I think LaFleur and Rodgers are only going to get better. That being said, I do think it's Rodgers last year. I will say that right now. I think if they win, he's done. I think if they lose, he's done too. I think he's just tired of it.
Interesting. It wouldn't surprise me.
If you watch his interviews, it
really wouldn't surprise me.
Like I listened to the Rogan interview. I didn't listen to the other one about ayahuasca and that whole experience. Just not interested. But he just seems he's
like a guy who's ready for the next phase of his life. Yeah,
he's just growing his hair out. He's just chilling. He just wants to go. What is it? Drink? You drink ayahuasca, right?
I don't know.
It's a mixture that they do. But what are your thoughts on that? Him coming out, playing on perks.
Do it.
I know
more
it's
power
meme.
to you.
It's funny because like I think we all kind of know that.
Definitely seemed like it.
Everybody, no, but I think it's kind of a general understanding that like everybody kind of plays off fucking shit.
Oh yeah, and if there is no chance you can just raw dog play in the NFL, like you got to be off something.
Yeah,
there's no shot.
I agree.
You are getting into a car accident every single 5-6 days.
What a way!
Every single 6 days.
What a way to say that.
That's crazy. It's true. You're right. You are getting into a car accident every week.
Yeah, no, you're right.
Like it's like there's no way you're just raw dogging that. Like there's no shot. No shot.
You need something to like give you an edge. Like anger.
Not even just I don't even know if it's necessarily an anger edge. I think you just need something to just help relax. I had a lot of players smoke weed. That's one avenue for one.
It's also great for recovery too.
A lot of people just do a lot of treatment. They get extra treatment, extra massages, extra ice baths, whatever it is. You've got to do something. Like you can't just not. You know what I mean? Like
I agree. Yeah.
So. Anyways, but I don't have an issue with it.
I have them being the best team in the NFC again. You just look at who they're going to be playing at least 6 times.
Yep.
I think that's huge. It's who you play in your division.
Division's pretty bad. But yeah.
Vikings being the best. Let's move on to the Bears. I don't expect anything to change for them.
My prediction for the worst team in the league this season, the Chicago Bears. I think there's nothing I really like about that. Outside of Darnell Mooney,
who
I
won
actually
6 games last year, which is shocking.
Yeah, I kind of like Darnell Mooney. Actually,
the thing is that I keep reading things about them moving their offensive line and switching guys, and I think you're just going to run into a fucking headache.
Yeah, switching guys around. I just
with a second-year quarterback.
I just don't think it was an overly talented roster last year. I don't think they improved it. They lost Allen Robinson. Now I know he was hurt a little bit last year too, but
excuse me.
I think Justin Fields is going to be running for his life. 17 games if he's able to play all 17 games.
How do you feel about him? Realistically,
I think it's impossible to accurately judge someone in a situation like that.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're ever going to be able to see the best of Justin Fields while he's in Chicago. Now, does that mean the best of Justin Fields is a franchise quarterback? I have no idea because he's in Chicago. I have no idea.
That is there for the next at least 4 years.
I have no idea. I've kind of felt this way about Ryan Tannehill in Miami too, by the way. And then he got to Tennessee, and I felt like he kind of proved himself that he was a good player. You know what I mean? I don't know if we'll be able to see that in Chicago with Justin Fields, but I like some of the talent. I like some of the stuff he showed in college. Obviously, I'm the biggest college football guy, as you know. But I think the roster, at least, and the coaching situation is my least favorite out of any of the teams.
Yeah, I can see.
Even more so than the Detroit. Detroit, I felt like last year you could very obviously see them trying to build towards something.
Yeah.
And you could see every single loss, how much it hurt that team.
Yes. They had
and I think
6 games decided by 4 points.
I think they really give a shit, the Lions. I think the Lions really, really give a shit. I think
it starts with
the head coach
on down.
100% with Campbell.
You know,
with Dan
that's
Campbell.
what it is.
100% starts.
I like him.
I like him a lot.
On him.
I told you this. I think he's the kind of guy who's going to come in, help build the culture, and then when that team is ready to take the next step forward, I think that's kind of when they go on to the next step. But I think as terms of a culture builder, I think they've got a really good guy in there right now. Because he's going to get guys to play for him. He's going to get guys to buy in. I know we're kind of slightly moving off Chicago, but I feel like these two teams are kind of in the same boat here with Chicago and Detroit. They got
a couple more years of rebuilding.
But again, I spoke a little bit before about with the Patriots and the Jets about how I feel like one team has an upward trajectory, the other team has a downward trajectory. I feel the same exact way with the Lions in Chicago, which is why I think
Chicago's kind of just stayed
plateauing
low for a while.
Yeah, I wouldn't necessarily say that they were like high and they were like falling. I just don't see them improving. Yeah. And I think Detroit is improving. So that's why I have them. I don't have either of them making the playoffs, obviously, but I have Detroit finishing with a better record than Chicago.
Yeah. I agree with that. I don't really have much to say about either team. Very similar to Houston. I just think they're in like the weird phases of rebuild. But I do agree with you as far as trajectory goes, as far as Detroit is definitely headed upwards and Chicago's pretty much plateauing.
I also don't hate Jared Goff. I just don't.
I don't either. I think he got a lot of bad, of bad shit.
I think he got a lot of really bad publicity because of the whole Sean McVay shit. Like, because Sean McVay just spoke so much about, like, he would just, I think, like, obviously Matt Stafford is incredible, but he just went so above and beyond with the praise for Matt Stafford that it made everyone be like, damn, Jared Goff must have been horrible. I don't think he was ever horrible.
You know what I mean? Everything a little weird.
Yeah, I don't think he was ever that bad. So
I agree with that. Yeah. Let's wrap up the NFC. I keep saying NFC. Yeah. NFC North. I assume we're gonna have the same.
Yep.
It's not gonna be like last year, but Packers, Vikings, Lions, Bears.
Yep. So you have the Bears finishing last as well in this division.
Yeah, I think the Lions just have more. We'll call it heart.
Yeah.
We'll call it heart.
I think that's the perfect word for it. I think, like I said, I think they give a shit. I think having the worst record in football last year, I think that affected them. I think they don't want to be in that position again. And they're going to win more games than I think they did last year. So
I also think a coach like Campbell gets guys to buy in.
Yeah.
And I think like you just give that extra elevated effort level that gets you from 3 wins to maybe 6.
They also do still have a handful of talented guys. Penei Sewell now going into second year. Like Jamal, they have good running backs. I like them both. So, we'll see. But